I've concluded that it's time to end America's longest war. It's time for American troops to come home.
Just hours ago, the last American troops left Afghanistan as the first round of troops found it nearly 20 years ago, with the Taliban in charge. 2,461 Americans died in America's longest war. ABC's senior foreign correspondent Ian Pennell, who's covered the war since the beginning, is in Doha.
Okay, so peace and stability are becoming the most important marker of a competitive economy or market. As events in Afghanistan have shown, political risk trump all other risks. These risks are discontinuous and can happen so quickly and sometimes abruptly. This makes it very difficult to price into one's cost of doing business. It is also a risk that is almost impossible to hedge against. The only viable hedge is to be in countries or regions where this risk is almost negligible. For digital companies like Google, they deal with this by locating servers in regions with stability. They are largely agnostic to where servers and other physical infrastructures are located. They can literally operate from anywhere. They don't need to be centralized. This is the power of the cloud. Increasingly for internet providers, the advent of low Earth orbit satellites could also help them mitigate this risk. The low Earth satellites can communicate directly with each other and communicate with little antennas on people's homes. The need for ground stations is eliminated. This means potentially they can operate in a centralized manner as well. This is all good, but humans still live in a physical world. We need physical things like food, shelter. Companies in these sectors are more sensitive to where their factories are sited. Ideally, they look for a combination of cheap cost of manufacturing, proximity to their customers, and political stability of the location of their manufacturing base. As seen during the COVID-19 crisis, the over-concentration of manufacturing in one country or even a region can carry enormous risk. Almost the entire supply chain of the world sits in Asia. With the increasing bifurcation of the world's political systems into Eastern and Western systems, this is a risk. China and Russia are aligning on one side, while the NATO allies are on the other side. This means for NATO and its allies, there is an urgent need to find alternative supply chains outside the region. Ideally, the supply chains should also have a low cost of manufacturing and political stability. This combination of factors leads us to the West African coast, specifically Ghana. Ghana has been relatively stable and peaceful over the past 2 decades. It enjoys a vibrant democracy with a relatively peaceful changeover government. It's within 10 hours flights to NATO allies. It has a youthful population with low-cost labor base. It also has lots of raw materials. This makes it the ideal location to site alternative supply chains for supply to NATO-aligned countries. It is not perfect, but it has the potential to become the hub of manufacturing and supply. However, to achieve this, a few things are critical. These include maintaining the peace and stability of the country, developing efficient systems for easy access to cheap labor, especially for local entrepreneurs. This is critical in ensuring that they can plug into supply chains and provide the inputs for these industrial outfits. Laying a foundation that makes it easy for businesses to set up and start running is critical. This includes training a workforce who is technically literate. This will involve investing resources into TVET. This will ensure that the workforce is ready and prepared to control these industries. Provision of a cheap and constant supply of power and water, quick and easily accessible government or public services. A public sector that is efficient and ready to support the private sector and help build a relationship, an enabling environment, and a facilitation that will fuel this agenda sustainably. This is the opportunity that awaits us and has the potential to transform Ghana into an industrialized economy.